We had
I don't,
Daryl's nephew, right? Did we have Daryl's nephew?
yes,
Yeah,
Matt.
yeah. We enjoyed meeting Matt, or I did. I hadn't met him, so.
So we are going to hear Adyashanti today. We actually shifted off the one I was going to initially do, and we're going to listen to one on being. And
Yeah.
being is kind of interesting because when you talk about being, you're really not talking about emotional states. You're talking about a quality of interaction between your witness consciousness and what's going on in your emotional system. And what I mean by that is there are certain kind of qualities to the experience of being. Mystics have always been challenged to translate to other people to distinguish it from emotional states. So, for example, trying to distinguish uh, between what's happening with dopamine and what's happening with anandamide is very subtle and but very essential difference because one happens uh, in uh, in the fight or flight state of your brain. The other one happens only when you're in dorsal state. So these might also legitimately be called qualities of being dorsal. I mean, not dorsal, ventral, being in that place in our nervous system, parasympathetic nervous system, that I keep saying is what Jesus meant when he talked about the kingdom, being within us, not being something external. And I was hoping that I had that list here in my phone somewhere,
Is
but
it a list I have?
it might be. We've done it at other retreats. I'm probably just ADDing over it. Okay, so bear with me one more second if I can't find it. So I think it was a handwritten uh, note with two columns on it. We did it at the workshop at the college.
I don't know. Not ringing a bell.
Okay. Anyhow, we'll come back to it after we listen to what Adyashanti has to say. So why don't you queue up, get ready to go?
Okay.
This the meditation is about to start.
Yes.
Yes, it is. So, and this one's 30 minutes, so we'll have a little time to,
Have some discussion.
yeah. All right, I'm going to then mute everybody. Welcome, by the way. Hi, Talbot, Robert. Okay.
Found it.
You want to do it now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, you wrote that on the
I
chalkboard.
wrote it on the chalkboard. Yes, I did. So as we begin to explore the states of being, look for a sense of aliveness. What does aliveness feel like? So one of the things is, how do you know that you're alive? Well, it's not a question you want to actually answer rationally. It's something that you can directly sense that aliveness in you. It's a feeling of calm, a feeling of life being easy. May you live your life with ease. So that's part of some of the Tonglen practices. May you be free of suffering. Well, the opposite of suffering is ease. The difference between dukkha, sukha. Dukkha is suffering, strained, effortful. Ease has that quality of flowing to it.
Sukha.
Dukkha is
Sukha is
struggle, and
ease.
sukha is ease. So sukhasana means easy boat. You're not struggling. You feel grounded, again, not necessarily an emotional state. You feel joyful. So you're going to hear certain qualities like joy, which we differentiate from pleasure. It's one of the qualities is spontaneous joy and equanimity. Um, Compassion comes out of this state, which is different from empathy, feeling another person's pain. It's a presence to other people's pain. It's a different level of connection. Life feeling meaningful. Where does meaningful happen in the brain? But notice that when you're in a ventral state, ordinary events feel more meaningful than they do when you're in fight or flight. And it'd be very difficult to say what shifted, but what shifted is you're in a different state, you're in a different part of your brain. There's a sense of security here, a sense of safety, a sense of belonging, a sense of being in place. At the same time that there's spaciousness. So there's a lot of paradoxical kinds of qualities that I feel very much present and centered. Centered's another quality here, but that center touches everything. So I'm simultaneously here and everywhere. I feel empty, but I'm filled because I'm empty. I'm filled with everything. I feel free, but I also feel very much grounded and related. So as you enter into this, begin to kind
So
of.
is it like samadhi?
It
Is it
is
like the eighth limb of yoga?
These are techniques. So what
Yeah,
Linnell's
okay.
referring to is actually 3 different meditative techniques. So actually 4, the last 4 limbs. The first one is the withdrawal of the senses. So that's me learning how to tune inward to my inner senses. Then there's single pointed focus. That's disciplining my mind to stay in one place, which is what we do when we
Focus on the breath.
focus on the breath or focus on a mantra or whatever we're focused on. Then there is expanded consciousness, which is part of what we're working on in these meditations, where I begin to embrace everything. I'm not in a specific place, I'm everywhere in my awareness. Now, samadhi is where the difference, there's no observer and self, where there's a unitary consciousness, where that boundary between right brain and left brain begins to dissolve. So it means we really go into the right brain. So it is very much associated with right brain consciousness, okay, with the absorption of self. So that's a very good insight. So when we come back, maybe this is going to clarify some things. So we'll let Adya take us through our paces and come back and see what we gleaned from our.
And this one's called Just Being Center.
No,
is that the one?
No, it was
Oh, that's the
something
one
in
that's
being.
queued up. Dee.
Okay. I'm sorry.
I know. Just Being Center is that one. This one is, no, we've done the art of
Okay.
something.
Well,
Good morning. And,
Sorry, I
no,
thought I had it.
Go back to that.
I thought I had it. It was on my queue. So
I need
it was
to-
on my watch.
Playlist.
Yeah,
Hit your playlist. Watch later.
that's it. That's
Okay.
that's Rupert.
Okay. Just let me see. I
Yeah.
can see what you got.
I know. I saved it. What's this one? Oh, that's the one I just stopped. No, just X. No, we don't. The art of listening. We've done that.
Already done it, yeah. Okay. No, that's yours. Okay. Well, what is this one again? The art of listening. The art.
Let me
Okay,
Good
I'm going
morning.
to go back.
and
just being
just a
center.
few.
That wasn't it?
Yeah, we'll go with it if you get back to it.
Okay.
I'm sorry, people. I try to avoid this chaos.
I know. I
That's
had
a
it
hell of a
all
way to start,
set up.
but
I am.
our technology keeps confusing us.
Had it all set. Thought I had it all set. Okay.
No, you people are disrupting my peaceful meditation.
God damn it, what the hell
No, what I was gonna say is
Hey,
there's more grace in the room than
The judgment, hopefully.
thank you.
And
Woo!
and this, Bart, this is the practice, is it not?
It
Go.
is.
To remain at peace when things go awry,
Yeah.
unexpectedly.
Got it.
Yeah, it's the practice. Thanks. Good example.
Right.
I love I love
About just being center. Is that the
Yes,
one?
go with it. I don't care whether it's the one we
Okay.
did. It'll work.
I'm just looking to make sure there wasn't another one. The art of listening. No. Okay, we've done those.
We have
Going
no
back
idea
to
what
it.
we're listening to, but it's
Here
going
we
to
go.
be great.
apropos for my life.
Good
Not
morning.
seeing it's the
And
second one, not the first.
just a
Okay.
few remarks before we begin. It's sort of funny looking at a room full of people. When I first had the idea to do one of these
This one?
retreat days,
Just being
I thought,
center.
I wonder
Okay,
if
I think
anybody's
I've
going to
got
be
it.
interested in it.
Pardon
'Cause it
my
is a lot of
technical
quiet.
difficulties.
And
I was just seeing if there
apparently
was a different.
there's
we're just
more
gonna go
people
with
that are interested in it than just me, so that's nice.
Resting in being. That's it. Yay!
It is the right one.
Okay.
Perseverance furthers. That's the I Ching.
Here we go. Gonging us in.
The attitude that you bring to meditation is perhaps the most important element of all. And to just have your attention or intention be towards a sense of ease, just a sense of ease and effortlessness. We're not trying to control experience. You're just relaxing into your immediate experience of being. And find the balance point of how much intention to be present is necessary. How much intention do you need? And how much can you just relax into a kind of ease and effortlessness? You can think of the breath in the belly as a kind of anchor. It's always there. It's rhythmic. It's a place you can reorient attention to if you get lost in your mind for a moment. In fact, for some of you may find it most beneficial just to sense the rhythmic flow of the breath in the lower belly for the whole meditation period. You can just check and see if you're holding any unnecessary tension in anywhere in the body. And you can just invite it to relax. And at some point when you're just watching and feeling the breath in the belly, at some point awareness or attention will just naturally kind of relax its focus on the breath. And all of a sudden you'll just start to kind of sense the presence of stillness, spaciousness around the breath, around the body, within the body. You can feel this intuitive sense of quiet. And don't just notice the quiet, but sense it, feel it. How does the quietness feel? And notice how the whole field of experience, the quiet feel of the breath, body, the space around you, that all of it's illumined by awareness. And that awareness is always and already present. And you just notice it. Awareness is always and already present. And often simply through acknowledging the presence of awareness, noticing that it's there, that awareness gets just that little bit brighter. Just by noticing it.
Okay. We're going to go. This one's resting in being. It's kind of an introduction.
So I'd like to start this meditation with just a little suggestion about a way of listening, because we do call these guided meditations, but actually the guidance part, how I kind of help guide attention, is only part of the guidance. So when I'm drawing attention to something in the meditation, I'm speaking and giving voice to that which I'm trying to draw attention to. And so that sets up a kind of field of consciousness. So I want to encourage you to just find this, your own kind of balance point listening to the guidance, but also more feeling your way, because there's a way that the guidance is also unspoken. It's not of the words. It's more of just mind to mind. And so when you're just sort of paying attention in that deeper way, deeper than the words, that can be beneficial. So today we're going to just begin by letting awareness or attention rest in the heart. Usually we do it down in the lower belly, but because we're going to look into presence in this meditation, and as you just arrest attention in the heart, again, just noticing the breath, not trying to improve it or change it, but just feeling the quality of it, whatever it is, open or tight or however the breath feels. Remembering that you're transitioning from trying to understand with the mind to intuitively sensing. So you're just connecting with your senses. So just by feeling the quality of the breath in the heart, it reorients attention to your senses. And as you rest in the heart, you may notice that it has a slightly different quality than when you're resting awareness in the belly. There's a slightly different feeling tone to the presence of awareness in the heart. And notice how simply through attending to the breath and the heart, how with just a little bit of time, the kind of starts to naturally calm down the central nervous system. It's an invitation for the body to come into a kind of very relaxed, at ease sense of wakefulness. And we're just noticing how naturally present awareness is. We don't have to try to make it happen. It's just there, and so we just acknowledge it. And there's that deep quality of silence. And often in meditation, there's an emphasis on letting go. And actually, the out breath is sort of the letting go breath. It's your body letting go of the air that it draws in, and just noticing how effortlessly it lets go of really its life force, the thing that nurtures, keeps the body alive, that it has to let it go in order to draw a new breath in. And just notice the effortlessness, the ease with which your body just lets go of the breath. If you should ever want to remind yourself what it feels like to let go, you just notice your out breath. And just as importantly, notice the quality of the in-breath, what it feels like to receive. Sometimes in spirituality, we can get so focused on letting go that we stop attending to what it's like to receive, your body receiving the air, life-giving oxygen. And when you align your attention with that receiving of the in-breath, you can also pay attention to what it's like if you receive the moment. Not just notice what's happening, the breath, sound in the room, the sense of presence, quiet. But it's a little different to notice something and really receive it. It's like you take it in, you take the moment in. It's a little more intimate engagement than simply noticing or witnessing. And you just feel that quality of the in-breath, what it's like to receive, to be willing to take the moment in. And there's a way that you can receive, that you can take the moment in, that's not grasping, that's not asking for more, that's not holding on, but it's just simple and innocent. Even the sound of the car outside, you could take it in as, you could see it as a disturbance, or you can just take the sound in, you can receive it. And when you receive it, there's no disturbance. It's just a sound. And then you'll notice quite naturally and easily that you're just resting and being. You're not focusing on letting go anymore. You're not focusing on receiving. That something in you is just ready to rest, just to be. As we just rest in this simple sense of being, a sense of presence, just feel, intuitively feel into your experience and see how much of the meditator is necessary. Which means how much can you let go of the sense of being the meditator, the one who's looking or sensing. You're just relaxing whatever your sense of the meditator is, but not so much that you get lost. And you just see how much of that meditator is actually necessary. Just letting the meditator in you relax. And you may notice that meditation can happen in the absence of the meditator, of the one who's trying to do it correctly. There is this natural meditation that's just happening all on its own. And it's an invitation to just let the meditator, however you experience the meditator, just let it relax out of the center. And there's just meditation happening all on its own. If you get lost a little bit in a thought, you can re-engage the meditator, notice the breath, sense the presence, and then once a little stability is established, you can just see how much of the meditator can be let go of.
So, in answer to your question, you saw at the very end there where he said, begin to let go of the need for the meditator.
Yes.
All right. That's samadhi, when you let go of the idea that there's somewhat separate from what you're observing. And there's simply the observation, which is where self and world are united. That's the samadhi. And you notice that he cautioned us because it's very easy when that happens to dissolve into it. So in advanced states, you'll go into places where you lose even the sense of awareness. You're so absorbed in it, and then pop out and just get enough of a sense of awareness to begin to experience it as pure energy without any mask, any color, or any sensible kind of qualities to it, and then dissolve back into it. So we need to preserve just the slightest connection. And sometimes they'll visualize that as an umbilical cord that keeps you grounded and connected back so you don't go zooming around the universe. Because it's very tempting. There are stories that these three seekers were out in the forest, and in the middle of the path, they saw a wall 15 feet tall. And so they managed to boost one of the guys up to the wall, top of the wall, and he goes, "Oh my God, it's true, it's real, I can't believe it." He starts giggling, and they go, What is it?" And he just jumps over and disappears. And the two guys are like, "What in the world just happened?" So they're even more curious now. So they managed to get the second guy up. He goes up, the same thing, his eyes open, he's full of wonder and amazement. I can't believe this is real. And he jumps over and disappears. And now the guy is just totally beside himself with curiosity, managed to stack enough stuff up to get up there. And he sees the Garden of Eden. He sees lions laying down with lambs. Everything is peaceful, it's harmonious, it's beautiful. He feels totally fulfilled, totally energized, feels alive and young. And instead of jumping over, he goes back to tell the village about it. And this is a division between the final point of spiritual practices, that there are people who go into absorption. An example of that is you can see any videos of Sri Chinmoy. I was blessed to have Mahavishnu John McLaughlin as a gift at my church. He was with the Mahavishnu electric orchestra. He played with Santana a lot. They did My Goal Is Beyond. They were both disciples of Sri Chinmoy. Well, Sri Chinmoy and he was kind of a guru to musician, had totally gone into absorption. And so you'd sit in his presence and his eyeballs are rolled back in his head and he's like, and I mean, you go in, he would just radiate joy and peace and love. But the son of a bitch couldn't cook his own food. He couldn't drive his own car. I mean, he didn't have enough of a tether left in the world to be of any use
No
to anybody.
umbilical cord.
Yeah, he came untethered. And so there are people that doing that does hold that energy for us. We need that. But we also need people who come back and bring that energy back to us. And that's what a bodhisattva is. A bodhisattva is a person who forgoes their own absorption into that peace, into that state of being, in order to form a bridge back to those of us who are close and kind of give us a little bit of a nudge and a little bit of hope we're not on the wrong path, that there really is something out there to be experienced. You're not crazy, and to help us differentiate between states of insanity. I used to be part of what was called the Spiritual Crisis Network, a national network that helped psychiatrists distinguish between manic states and genuine spiritual states. I had a woman locked up at Brentwood who went into spontaneous satori. Very similar, if you want an explanation of that, read Eckhart Tolle's description in The Power of Now of his spontaneous awakening when he was in a profound depression and had shifted into a state of enlightenment. And she had been locked up for several days, and I came in and said, there's nothing wrong with this woman. We all want to be where she is. You need to unlock her. She's not a risk to anybody. She's a blessing to anyone who connects with her right now. So these are some of the things kind of out ahead of us that you may taste from time to time. I took a couple of notes just that he touched on, again, statements about quality, brightness. This is where that idea that it's light, that there's a brightness, an intensity of the quality of light, being in this state that begins to touch all the things. The hymn, morning is broken like the first morning, like the
Remember,
first
he was the
dew.
one that would use vivid a lot.
Who would?
Adyashanti.
Adyashanti, yeah.
Yeah.
Vividness and clarity.
Yeah.
The silence, the quiet, okay? That feeling of presence. I mean, see, these are not emotions. Presence, that feeling of intimacy. I like the word communion, union with, where you're receiving without effort, without anything, just opening yourself to the energy coming in, but also at the same time, the effortlessness of letting go, like the out breath, that it feels good to be on both sides of that. And that's where giving and receiving at second chakra quits being a transaction. And it simply becomes a two sides of the same coin. That as I let go of what I don't need, I'm nourishing other beings, and I'm taking in the oxygen plants don't need anymore. I'm taking in dead leaves that they've shed. The animals dropped their body, they've decayed, that all nourished, became plants, fed me what they've let go of. So it's knowing that the whole cycle, that feeling of you'll see that image of a torus, and when I had my mystical experience, that's very much what it was like. The energy was coming in through my lower centers, it was going out, and then there was this field of energy around me that was fueling the whole thing, and there was absolutely no effort to it. I mean, it was like a siphon. If you've ever siphoned gas, there's no pump pumping the gas out. You just open up a channel, and it's the same way where you take there was an old experiment in chemistry class where you have two tubes with water in it, and how do you get the water exactly balanced in both tubes? And the answer is you cut a hole in both sides, connect a tube between them, and then the air pressure puts the same amount of pressure. Having the connectivity, it balances everything out. So again, in this place, that feeling of balance is I don't have to balance. I've opened up a space for the balance to happen of itself. That this is what the Chinese mean by Wu Wei, effortless action. Yes, something's happening, but not because of any effort on my part. So anyhow, that's some spewing. Any questions, comments?
Nobody else has a burning desire.
Turn it on.
I liked his you always talk about the just gestalt shift of learning to receive the breath as nutrition, learning to receive when I'm not in meditation, whatever's happening as like positivity instead of just the letting go of the negativity. And like so often it's been like just let go, let go. And it's kind of like a deadness. And, you know, there's a time for deadness and letting go. I mean, that's the, you know, the emptying out, that's like very helpful. Emptying out is super helpful. But that without that other shift to receiving, like he talked about letting go versus receiving. And so that was really helpful because that's been helpful to like trying to wake up to what I can receive when I'm in meditation and also obviously not in meditation. And then as a separate subject, I wanted to know if you wanted to share any more about your Kundalini opening and the current update on that stuff.
I've used sexual.
That's the right word. Did I use the wrong word?
Robert, it's not sexual. That's
It sounded
tantric.
like it.
Okay, and tantric does involve Kundalini energy. Okay, Kundalini is about the energy that's at the base of the spine. They call it serpent power. And it's also associated with first chakra. And what Matthew's referring to is something that happened to me this summer while we were up in New Hampshire. And I'm laying in bed and I was doing a specific breath from Tai Chi where you draw, it's called reverse breathing. When you draw the breath in, you move the belly button back into the spine. Instead of opening out. So
Typically what we
do. And then you draw the breath up the spine, the spinal column, to the pineal gland. And then so 4 counts, you bring it up. 7 counts, you hold it at 6th chakra. And then for 8 counts, you direct it down through the vagus nerve. You put your tongue up in the roof of your mouth and let it travel down and nourish every one of your chakras. And then you stop and let it pool at 2nd chakra, what's called the lower dantian. And you can see why I don't teach this shit, because just holding that is you have to have a lot of discipline before you get there, not to criticize anybody, but it's different. And so what I felt happening was that this blockage at the bottom of my spine began to open up, and this warm energy started moving up through my centers. And so it starts coming up, it hits 2nd chakra, 3rd chakra. Each time it hits, I've got this warm, alive feeling. My whole body feels energized in a way it never has before. And then it moved up to 6th chakra and it stopped there, right here, and it wouldn't go to the top. I go, so I don't fight with that. I go, that's as far as the energy you want to move. So I'm just playing with the relationship with breath and this movement of energy up the spine. And Linnell knows they had a saying at Kripalu, never trust a teacher whose spine isn't alive, isn't glowing. You remember that? And I never understood what it meant until this moment. So I try not to teach anything that I haven't experienced. So all of a sudden I got this glowing spine going on. So I go to my Tai Chi class, and my Sifu actually teaches that breath and says you don't want it to go further than 6th chakra, okay? You want it to stop right there. You want to keep cycling that energy and not let it release out into the universe yet. That's a different thing. So what I think what Matthew's asking the question, yes, what's continued to happen was that since then, I have had an opening up in the crown of my chakra so that things are moving down now through there and have very much this sense of being surrounded in a cocoon of energy a lot of the day. Okay. And a lot of my fear has left me. Not really feeling much fear anymore at all, feeling very comfortable as I move through the world. I do get angry still, very easily frustrated. But anyhow, but I noticed the main qualities, that feeling of vitality and aliveness and spontaneous releases. So in the middle of that meditation, if you go back about 2/3 of the way in, you're going to see this. And you see that all the time in Tai Chi class, and that's trauma release, okay? We now know that your trauma is stored in your fascia, and when you feel safe, you begin to release it spontaneously as those shudders of energy, like the dog. I don't know whether you heard him, but the first thing he did when he got up was to do an ear flap, and then he did a snort.
Yeah.
And that's kind of hit, letting go of the energy, clearing it out.
Yeah.
So I don't often share this kind of stuff because, and the reason why is because it leads to striving, and it leads to thinking that I should be doing this and this is where I should be. And so it's cautionary. We took one of the meditators that was a type A personality, financial planner to Father Kennedy, and he had been out to see Sherry Huber, who wrote the book, There's Nothing Wrong With You, and took her group. And so he goes to Father Kennedy and he goes, so what are your most advanced techniques? And Father Kennedy had the perfect answer. He said, I sit and count my breath. And when I get to 10, I start again. And that's to remind us, there shall be no spiritual seeking. There shall be no intense introspection. There shall be no self-improvement, that we're not here to do that. This emerged spontaneously during a regular meditation, a feeling of connection between that energy and my breath. So I just went with it intuitively. And that's what the Buddha means by work out your own way with diligence. And then as you begin to find these kind of things, then as Robert was saying, I went back and started reading books on tantric yoga and that movement of serpent power. Because I was curious about, they've laid a map out. There's always somebody who's done this better than you and done it longer, and kind of give you ways to begin to explore it in a playful way. So I hope I haven't confused anybody, but thank you for asking. I don't ever talk about this stuff that often.
Well, I was just curious if you still had, sounds like you still do. You had an amazing, like for months. I mean, that when I talked to you was several months after it happened. And you said, I have so much energy, I don't know what to do with myself.
It still happens. Should have been here yesterday. I think I drove Linnell crazy, bouncing around like a crazy man.
We were all.
So, yeah, I was just curious. But yeah, I knew what. Yeah, I was just curious. Sorry. Yeah. Anyway.
So, any other questions before we close? Thank you all for coming. We're beginning to get a solid group here.
Oh, I just wanted to add, this reminded me of something. My wife and I went to a retreat somewhere, and this woman taught us a breathing technique of connecting the sixth chakra to the first chakra.
Right.
And setting up a cycle of energy moving up and down and around. And I could feel a field around me that was creating.
Yes.
And this is really interesting what you're talking about, because I didn't know what it was happening then, but this gives it a little bit of context. Thank you.
Yeah. And so it has a lot of different names. Every tradition teaches it. Rumi teaches it. But first, master the ones before, okay? Because first you have to be able to hold your awareness in a single point. Then you have to be aware of all these other factors without having to think about it, okay? And then be outside enough to feel and enough sense of the energy to begin to feel its movement spontaneously without trying to direct it. So a lot happens, but it will happen on its own. Now, what's the problem with it happening on its own? You've got no platform for integrating it. And that's what happens with drugs, is that people move up, they open up too fast, they don't have a way to integrate what's happening, and they spin off. So that's why all this stuff comes with this powerful stuff. Don't play with it. Have a teacher, be grounded, people keep an eye on you, and keep you from doing something inadvertently that's harmful. Okay? So y'all are doing it right. We're doing it the old school
Yeah,
way.
it's good to hear because there's nowhere to get to, but there are places to go. I forget, because of what you said and what Drew said, it's like, because a lot of times it just feels so like dead, there's just this deadness because you don't want to strive for some sort of awakening that's some fantastical thing. But then when you hear about things like that, you're like, oh, well, so I appreciate it. There's nowhere to get to, but there are places to go
I
with
like
this.
that.
So notice
like it.
that everybody's saying what you're looking for is already present,
Right.
Matthew. It's not that there's anywhere to go. There's more to see. So keep thinking of yourself as a tuner. All right. And that in this room, we've got multiple channels of energy that are going on. What are you attuned to? So our brains have been attuned to negativity. Our brains have been attuned to stimulation, to dopamine. We associate simply being as boring. It takes a long time. Remember, boredom is the last room you pass through before things get alive again. That's the detox. So we go through a long period of training our brain not to be going, oh my God, I need stimulation. I need something more than this. This is too boring. I'm not getting where I'm not doing, and let all that stuff pass and just realize this is stuff that's necessary to eventually get to the point where I go, oh wow, when I quit all this struggle and expectation of something happening, there's already peace right here. There's already light here. It's good.
Good, thank you.
Yeah. So those channels are here, unless you're an amazingly unique person who's sitting in a cosmic bubble where these energies aren't present. And I really doubt that that's the case. I think it's more a case of we need a tuner that needs to be cleaned a little bit.
No, that's the case. I'm the only one in the universe that can't feel the energy.
Fucking special, Matthew. I can't stand it. Is there anybody else as special as Matthew? 'Cause-
Yes.
All right. So one round of Om and we'll go.
Any other burning desire for comment? Galen, you're muted.
Bart, can you stay on with me a minute
No, I
afterwards?
really can't. I got a suicidal
Sorry.
13-year-old that I'm meeting with at 6:30. So I would love to, but can I get back to you?
Yeah, I'm sorry I missed calls today. Different things were going on, but I'm going to be going to the doctor on our next meeting day. So I won't be here.
Okay.
We'll get that straightened out.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Deep breath in.
Okay.
Hari Om Shanti.
Party on, Wayne.
Namaste. Happy. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye, Pam. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Pam.